Roll call. Yeah, roll call.
This is the September 25th, 2019 Freeholder meeting. The time is 6:05 p.m. Roll call. Freeholder Fantasia will arrive later this evening. Freeholder Graham.
Here.
Freeholder Hertzberg.
Here.
Freeholder Patillo.
Here.
Freeholder Director Yardley.
Here. Okay, stand and we'll have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, has been made by regular mail, such notice being submitted on September 17, 2019, from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, New Jersey Sunday Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, WNNJ Radio. It is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for public announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in accordance and in compliance with said act.
Okay, approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, executive session.
Whereas the subject matters about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution, the Board of Chosen Freeholders, as an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12(b), and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of Chosen Freeholders to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex, in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12(b) and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into the executive session from which the public shall be excluded, and be it further resolved that the general nature of the subjects to be discussed relates to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12(b) as designated below. Number 6, matters relating to public safety and property, the correctional facility, and number 7, County of Sussex versus Integrity Roofing and Shared Services Sheriff's Office. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, or provided by law that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. And be it further resolved that upon completion of the business for which the Board has entered into the executive session, the Board shall reconvene and resume its meeting open to the public. Be it further resolved that the Board expects to take formal action after returning from executive session.
Motion to adopt executive session and enter to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are in executive session.
So we didn't. I didn't really take it yesterday.
Proclamation, certification, and presentation.
Well, nobody asked.
Messaging shows presentation demonstrating the
Wait,
top
something.
5 reasons to live in municipality at the Sussex County Farm and Horse Show. Stillwater Township Committee accepting the Tanya and Stephen Stark, presented by Freeholder Yardley. You want to come on up? Is the mayor here too?
Yes. Yes. Stand up.
Okay.
You can explain to me.
Come on. And the plus goes for the town.
Yes, they keep it for the year. It's a week.
For a year, so.
A whole year.
A whole year. A whole year.
You
can stand.
Great the name.
So we'll just read that. As the winner for Best of Show to the government who displays During the Sussex County Farm and Horse Show, it demonstrated skill, ingenuity, artistry, and improved our understanding of the top 5 reasons to live in Stillwater Township, Sussex County. Freeholder Yardley, Sylvia Patilli, Deputy Freeholder, Dawn Fantasia, Josh Hertzberg, George Graham, Freeholders. Congratulations. Here, we all come over here. Come on over here. Come on over here. You want to hold that?
No, let them hold it. They're the ones that work so hard on it.
Great job.
Ready?
We're ready.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, great job.
Thank you very much.
Runner-up display, we're demonstrating top 5 reasons to live in the municipality at the Sussex County Farm and Horse Show. Hampton Township Committee, Leah Hansen, accepting Leah Hansen. Committee woman, Ellen Close, presented by Sylvia. Which one? No, that's, I'm doing that. Doing it up? Come on up. That's right. Thank you. Thank you, great job. As runner-up for Best of Show to the government food display during the Sussex County Farm and Horse Show, demonstrated skill, ingenuity, artistry, and improved our understanding of the top 5 reasons to live in Hampton Township. Terry Yardley, Freeholder Director, Sylvia Patillo, Deputy Director, Dawn Fantasia, Josh Hertzberg, and George Graham, Freeholders. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Juvenile Detention Center. Officer George Chantora and his recent graduation from the Juvenile Justice Academy with an Academic Achievement Award presented by Sylvia Patillo.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks.
Okay, tonight we have with us a few people that I'd like to introduce before we give the awards. Christine Florio, the Director of Community Youth Services. Christine, come on up because I know you want to speak. And Jennifer Colville, the Supervisor of the Detention Alternatives Program. Would you just stand, please? Would you like to speak also?
Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to recognize you. Thank you for being here. We also have our juvenile detention officers, Janelle St. Croix. Please stand so people can see you. We have George up here, Richard Luthke, Justin Bellis, Kelsey Rogers, and Tristan Sharp. Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for all that you do. They are here to honor one of their own, which is George Chanturia. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce his family members who are also present this evening. We have Tio Parker, his mom. She is back there. Okay, James Parker, stepdad, and Maka Chantura, his sister. Thank you for coming. We're very glad that you're all here. And we're all excited about this because you have numerous awards coming your way. So let me just read all about George Chanturia. Officer George Chanturia began his employment with the Sussex County Detention Alternatives Program on January 18, 2018. In New Jersey, the Juvenile Justice Commission requires that all juvenile detention officers complete the basic course for juvenile detention officers. Officer Chantura successfully completed the basic course for juvenile detention officers on September 10, 2019. Officer Chantura spent 7 weeks at the National Guard Training Center in Seager, New Jersey. The training, which is provided by the Juvenile Justice Commission, is designed to provide juvenile detention officers with the tools they need to work with court-involved youth. The curriculum is designed to teach officers how to maintain a safe environment for themselves, the youth, their families, and their colleagues. The training also ensures that the officers are given the knowledge and tools required to do their jobs to the best of their ability, while playing an important part in helping youth get back on the right path. Officer Centura was the proud recipient of the Academic Achievement Award with an average score of 93.5. Officer Centura was presented with this award by George Sandoval, President of the New Jersey Juvenile Detention Association. Officer Centura was also the proud recipient of the Thomas M. Cooper Professional Development Award. This award was voted on by the Academy staff for demonstrating the highest degree of determination, perseverance, professionalism, and cooperation. Officer Centura was presented with this award by Diane Youst, Vice President of the New Jersey Juvenile Detention Association. And now it is our honor and privilege to present you with all of those awards. This is the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety Juvenile Justice Commission Training Academy Academic Achievement Award, presented to George Centura, Basic Course for Juvenile Detention Officers, Cycle number 2-19, September 10th, 2019, Seagirt, New Jersey. So congratulations on this. These are really heavy. This is the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety Juvenile Justice Commission Training Academy, and this is the Thomas M. Cooper Professional Development Award, presented to George Centura, Basic Course for Juvenile Detention Officers, Cycle number 2-19, September 10th, 2019, Seagirt, New Jersey. Here's number 2. And this is the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety Juvenile Justice Commission certifies that on this date, September 10th, 2019, George Centura has successfully completed the basic course for juvenile detention officers. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what a great team we have. And Jen is a wonderful supervisor. We really have brought the team together. Jen has really brought the team together. And what we do is, it is an alternative to detention. So kids that would normally be in the detention center are in our program. So they're able to stay in their schools, in their community, at their homes, with their relationships with their parents, their sisters, their brothers, their friends on a limited basis. We connect them to treatment services, we provide transportation, we provide community service that's meaningful to them, not just shredding paper in an office, but really doing 5Ks. We work with SCARF, we work with Pass It Along, we work with multiple agencies, and children really get to be out there and doing a lot. We also work with the state parks. So I'm very proud of everybody. I'm extremely proud of George and everything he's accomplished. It is not easy what he has accomplished. It's amazing all the awards he's gotten. And I'm very proud of all of them. They really do provide an exceptional service to the community. And I want to thank the Freeholders too for recognizing them and all the hard work that they do.
I just want to thank everybody for this honor, and I look forward to continuing my career at Detention Alternatives, Sussex County. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would just like to mention too that these are the people that you never see in our community. You don't realize what they give, their influence on our youth, and the way they enable them to change their whole behavior. They're absolutely amazing young men and women, and young, amazing people here. And although we don't get to say thank you very much, and we don't get to recognize you very much, this is the perfect opportunity to do that. So we want to thank you for all that you do, the hard work. It's not easy working with our youth today. a lot of patience, right? But you do a great job. And George, you're amazing. So congratulations on those awards. You deserve it. And we really appreciate all that you do
Thank
and
you so much.
accomplish
Thank you.
in your job. We'd like to ask the parents to come up so we can take our famous picture, Gordon, right? You want to come over here so I really have the podium? See if we can get everybody in this.
They thought they could get away in the back
Yeah,
row.
I know they're hiding. It doesn't work that way.
Why don't you, come on.
I'm giving it to you.
If we do our side ratio at 10 pounds, then we're not That's our side ratio. You can sit straight. Can you get us all in?
A little more, just so you have.
Scrunch in a little.
Okay.
Ready? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know that the presentations are over. You're welcome to stay, or if you'd like to leave, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Appreciate you coming out.
This is your chance. Thank you guys, thank you for all what you do.
You're okay.
We have a presentation from Dr. Bollard. Dr. Bollard here?
See?
No?
What's the presentation?
He has a program with interns that he goes to the camp. Let us know what that is. Okay. Public hearings. Adoption of ordinance 2019-12, an ordinance to amend Sussex County Administrative Code published in 1989, last revised 2016. A motion that the public hearing be opened.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone present to be heard regarding this ordinance? Anyone wish to speak on this ordinance? Okay, seeing no one, motion that the public hearing be closed. Have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's closed. Motion that this ordinance be finally adopted. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Motion to authorize the clerk to advertise this ordinance as finally adopted and also post the same on the bulletin board in the lobby of the County Administration Center. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public session from the floor. The committee comments are limited to 3 minutes or less and must only address issues regarding agenda items. Please state your name and print your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet. There will be a second opportunity for anyone that wishes to address the Freeholder Board on any issue after we go through the business of the counting, as we normally do. Is there anyone, motion to open the floor for public comment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion. Is there anyone wishing to comment on items on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. Motion to close the floor to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Freeholder comments. Dawn.
Okay. First, from finance, I got a brief update. We're on target budget to actual with both revenues and expenses. Departments and divisions have all turned in their 2020 budget requests along with their 2020 goals and objectives. We will be receiving our budget binders for the operating budget subcommittee, as well as goals and objective books for all of the freeholders. And our budget meetings with the divisions will begin the week of October 7th. We would like to thank all of the staff in the Department of Finance for their hard work in preparing for this budget review. As far as the Sussex County Arts and Heritage Council, I'd like to announce that their masquerade ball is right around the corner. It's a pretty large fundraising gala. It's going to be held on October 11th at the Lafayette House. There's dinner, dancing, a silent auction. Costumes are optional, and you can purchase a mask if you really want to get in the spirit of it before the event at the gallery. That's at 133 Spring Street. And there's sponsorship and advertising opportunities available. So if you're interested, you can check out the Arts and Heritage Council online. They also have a pretty active Facebook page. As far as the library, if you've noticed online, it's Library Card Sign-Up Month that I mentioned last time. There's a giant picture of Library Card Will, and he travels around the county. If you take a selfie with him, which I happen to do at Sussex County Day, and you hashtag #GetCarded at SCLS, you're automatically entered into winning a Kindle Fire raffle. So if you see Library Card Will throughout the county, just snap a selfie and hashtag that for your chance to win a Kindle. Again, we attended Sussex County Day. It was really great. There were games, there had a cornhole competition. But one thing that I wanted to mention that was something new is Carpenters Local 284 was there. And they were there with a project for the kids. And they made hundreds of toolboxes with the children completely free of charge. And they had different, different members that were there to help work with the kids and, show them how to make their first toolbox and hammer. And that was a really great project. And it was a really good example, I think, of community building. So we were very grateful to have them there. Also, I attended the Vernon PBA 285 beefsteak with Assemblyman Wirtz and School Commissioner Bunny Kokola and Harry Shortway and Herb. And it was nice to see so much support up in Vernon for their police. Also, we attended the Northwest Jersey Central Labor Council AFL-CIO labor reception. That council represents, I'd say, about 40,000 hardworking men and women in Sussex, Morris, Warren, and Hunterdon counties. It was nice to go and be able to recognize our workers. And lastly, I had the pleasure of judging some Miss New Jersey preliminary pageants this weekend. It's called the Northern Scholarship Pageant Organization. And in order for girls to compete, they have to be between the ages of 17 and 24. And they have to either live, work, or go to school in the region. So we actually crowned 3 titles that are actually going to compete for Miss New Jersey. We do have one Sussex County girl. Her name is Bailey Bosma. She is 17 years old, and she is from Vernon. She's a senior in high school. And actually, she will be missing her high school graduation because that is the week of Miss New Jersey competition, that she will be down competing in Ocean City for that. She's a dynamic young lady. She has a platform. When you compete in the Miss America organization, you have a platform, and her platform focused on the vaping crisis for kids her age and the importance of having healthy lungs and clean air. It was the first pageant she ever did. She competed against 24-year-old girls who had already graduated college and, perhaps were working on their master's degrees. And she is just an excellent representative, I think, of Sussex County. Very proud of her. And then 2 Morris County girls were also crowned. Miss Northern Highlands, Justine Murray. I believe she's a law student. And her platform was freedom of speech and the importance of maintaining freedom of speech regardless of political leanings. That was a different platform and very interesting. And then another young lady from Morris County as well. She is Miss North Jersey, Veronica Tulo, and her platform was supporting mental health of young women. She did note that Morris County had, I believe, the highest rate of suicide in the state for children between the ages of 15 and 24, which was surprising. So her platform was supporting initiatives that support mental health for specifically young women. So these 3 women were excellent. I mean, they have dynamic platforms. They're out in their community. They're doing the real deal, and I'm very proud of them. And I would like to ask the board if at an upcoming meeting, perhaps our next meeting, we could recognize them here for their, for their accomplishments, because they do represent the region. They used to do pageants just limited to a specific county, but now we do the region, the northern region. So those are the three ladies. There was also another young lady from Alamucci, and she was the first runner-up. Her name is Jessica Irby, and she is a classroom teacher, but did a significant amount of work with Warren County's version of DAISY, what we have here, their domestic violence initiative. So that was her platform. So a lot of the focus in these things, people think pageants, and it's, girls parading around. For the record, Miss America has removed the swimsuit requirement, so there's no more swimsuits. And, the young ladies come and they really work hard on serving the community and on their studies, and they want scholarship money to continue their studies. And I'm just really proud of them. So I would just like to ask for consideration to recognize these three young women at maybe our next meeting. And that's it.
Yeah. Great.
Sylvia?
Okay, quite a few things, so you'll have to bear with me tonight. First, I'd like to say that the Center for Disease Control, the New Jersey Department of Health, and the Sussex County Division of Health will be conducting a comprehensive study on Powassan in Sussex County during the month of October. And the study is scheduled to last 2 weeks, beginning on October 10th. As far as the health department, sometimes I take the time to go through the communicable disease investigations. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to say that Lyme disease remains the most investigated disease. It is a problem up here in Sussex County. And the statistical report by municipality with the highest number of reported disease from August 1st to August 31st were the following: Vernon 16, Apacon 13, Sparta 12, and Wantage 8. I also would like to remind everybody that the flu vaccinations are out now. They took a while to get them here. We're a little late, but they're out. September 28th on a Saturday, they will be giving flu vaccines in Frieden Civic Center from 9 to 12. On October 2nd, which is a Wednesday, they'll be at the Wantage Library from 4 to 6. October 5th, be at Pacon Community Resource and Wellness Center from 9 to 11. That's all that I wanted to talk about here. Okay. Last year we increased our veteran service. We now have a portal for them on the website, so it makes it easier to find the services that they need. And we have a third service now that is held right here with Bill Robinson, who was the Veteran Service Officer, right here in the county building, which makes it more convenient for our veterans. And I just want to read some of the social services that were used for our veterans in the past month. We had 4 veterans that applied for food stamps. 1 veteran applied for general assistance. 2 veterans applied for homelessness prevention. And 4 veterans applied for housing assistance. Now we have veterans that are also in the senior services. 1 veteran was referred to the VA clinic. 2 veterans completed a SLMB application, which is low-income Medicare beneficiary. 2 veterans were referred to Bill Robinson, that is their officer. And 2 veterans were referred to Catholic Family and Community Services. And 120 veterans accessed information from the senior services table during the Veterans Picnic. So it was nice to see that we had that many that were taking an interest in all the information we had so that they could find the services that they needed. So I was happy to see that. I'd like to take a few minutes to speak on the opioid crisis. The opioid epidemic has gripped the nation and caught the attention of everyone, from the average person on the street to the current resident of the White House. In 2017, 70,237 Americans died as a result of overdoses. That is more than any other accidental or injury-related death in the country. Sussex County is not immune to this epidemic. In 2017, there were 38 overdose deaths due to opioids and other drugs. That number decreased slightly in 2018 to 35 deaths. This decrease gives us hope that our efforts to control this epidemic and bring life-saving measures to those people who are dealing with substance use disorders are not in vain. Narcan, the medication that blocks the opioid receptors in the body and helps to reverse the effects of an overdose, has been made more available to our first responders, law enforcement, and even family members now. Substance use prevention, treatment, and recovery support services have been enhanced. The County Office of Substance Abuse and Alcoholism within the Division of Community and Youth Services is working with our contracted agencies and preventive program volunteers to combat this epidemic and bring hope to so many people affected by it. The last couple of years, I have had quite a few people call me or come to me because they were in shock over the fact that someone that they knew, someone that they loved, a family member, had an opioid, heroin problem. And I found out, and I kept trying to work with them. I'd bring them to the CLEAR program, I'd give out those cards, and I talk about it wherever I went, just to help people to know that we have a service here for recovery. And it's an excellent service. But it really isn't enough. I found out that when people receive that dreadful phone call that there's been an overdose, or even the day they find out that their child has a addiction to heroin, they really go into a situation of just shock and go into an emergency situation. And at that time, if they don't know the services that we have, what number to call, where to go, it delays the help, and sometimes it causes other problems. And I'm just going to give a few examples. I'm not going to use names. But I did have a dear friend whose daughter was a heroin addict. And she called me up in the middle of the night. She had overdosed. And she wanted to go to a Christian rehab. Okay, now we don't offer Christian rehabs. I have the ability, I have contacts in the Christian rehab situation programs, and I tried to get her into a program. It took me 2.5 weeks to get a place in Alabama for recovery. Within those 2.5 weeks, she didn't want to go into a long-term program anymore. So she didn't go. A year later, she died of an overdose. So see what happens when you have that delay. You don't have the numbers to call. I now have numbers I didn't have before, so if someone wanted help in a Christian recovery, I know now who to call. But I decided that, we have to find a way to get this information out, because it's not just the CLEAR program. It's all the other partnerships that we have that have recovery, that have counseling, that have services associated with addictions. So I introduced to Carol Noffert the idea of a drug symposium, specifically for opioids. And the reason I thought we needed that and I wanted it to happen was because of the issues that I just told you. I can go on and tell you 5 more stories that I was involved in. And the problem is that we need to have all of the services together. We need to have Narcan demonstrations. We need to have the Hidden in Plain Sight. If you've never gone to the program, Hidden in Plain Sight, and this will be at the drug symposiums that we are going to have in the next month. Hidden in Plain Sight is just a bedroom, a child's bedroom set up, and it has all the normal things that you would see if you walked into your own child's bedroom. But within all of those normalcies, the things that they would normal have, whether it's a soda can or whatever you see around them, there's drug paraphernalia in there, or there's drugs in there hidden. So the plain sight is you're seeing what you normally see. There's nothing that would catch your eye or raise a flag and say, wow, what's that? It's something different. Where did that come from? Is this a predated? Nothing. Just everything is normal. But within that normalcy, they are hiding drugs and drug paraphernalia. And when you go there, you get to go through the bedroom. And you get to see, I'm not going to tell you this, but you get to see the different items and how they use them and what the drug paraphernalia looks like and where they begin to hide these drugs. So that when you walk into your own child's bedroom, you're aware that the ordinary things that they may have laying on there may not be just ordinary things. It's an awareness situation. We will have that in plain sight program there so that you could go through that bedroom. We're also going to have a Narcan demonstration, and all the numbers of agencies that we use for recovery will be there. There will also be a video introducing the trends and what's going on with the epidemic. When I was talking to Carol about this, I said we have to work this out so that there is nothing that they can say or give any reason why they can't attend. So we're having 3 drug symposiums, 1 in each part of the county. So if you can't get to one in one place, you have the opportunity to go to 2 others somewhere else. And I would encourage all of you, to come, bring a friend, and really get the information. You will leave with something in your hand, so that if, God forbid, you ever get a phone call or you find out that someone you love or a neighbor or a friend, whatever, is having a problem with drug addiction, you're going to have the numbers to call. You're not going to have to wait. There won't be any delays. You'll have that in your hand to take home. So the first one, if you go outside, you will see this. This is our drug symposium flyer. Please share it. There will be 3, and the first one is going to be on October 17th at Newton High School. The second one is going to be at Walk Hill Valley Regional High School on October 23rd. And the third one is going to be at Lenape Valley Regional High School on Monday, October 28th. 3 different days of the week, 3 different dates, 3 different areas of the county. So please don't find an excuse not to come. We try to do our best so that everyone can get to one. And if there is any program you go to this year, please let it be this one, because this is a life and death program. And you will be surprised of all the resources that we have that you don't know about that could save a life if you just make that phone call in time. So I'm asking you, please take them, share them, spread them out, make copies of them, give them out, give them to the schools, whatever you like to do. We're in contact with the schools as well. And just see if we can get people to come so that when they need help, they know the number to call. Thank you very much. I think I'm done.
George?
I don't really have much to say. I do want to say thank you to Sylvia for what you're doing. And Carol, over the last few years, I've had the honor of working closely with Carol in the Human Services Department. Her staff, Carol, Christina, Lorraine, the things that you do for the average person in this county is never really recognized. Everything from homelessness to drug addiction to just people that are devoid of hope. When you think of county government, you think of roads, maybe you think of transportation, you think of a lot of different things that the county does. But what we do is people. We help people. And the interesting thing is that everybody that I've ever served with on this board, going back different generations of boards, have all had the same thing in common. They care. So I just want to say thank you, Sylvia, for doing the extra.
Yeah, thank you. And Nick Luisi, who is the coordinator for our drug and alcohol programs, will be here next week to talk on this, because he's the one that pulled it all together and worked together to get the concept fixed and the dates set. So he'll be here next week. Next meeting, not next week.
Thank you. Josh?
Yeah, I'll make this quick. I have a few things just to touch on the Northwest Jersey Labor Council again. I thought it was nice, the head of the council, Anthony Abrantes, had made mention, we looked around the room, that in New Jersey, representing and helping the middle-class workers of this state is not a partisan issue. There were Republicans, there were Democrats, and everybody was there for the right reason. I thought that was something that seems almost unique to New Jersey these days. The tick event, we talked a lot about. Sylvia mentioned, the tick epidemic that we have. I feel like we talk about it almost every meeting, but they're finally put together a pretty comprehensive event on October 5th at the County College, all day, where they'll have many speakers and a lot of education about the tick issue, and hopefully some answers of things that we can start doing to help resolve it. And lastly, I just want to commend our board for our first step in trying to solve some of the financial woes of the county. Tonight we'll be voting on the debt management policy, and that is step one in kind of taking the right steps towards being financially healthy. So I want to commend the board for their work on that. That's all I have.
Just an update. It looks as though 60% of Lake Pacon is no longer under the advisory. So that's a good improvement. Advisory is not a prohibition of recreational uses, but it's a recommendation to help the public. To learn more about this, you can visit the county website. Those of you interested in tick-borne, again, we're all talking about that. We've had quite a year of people having been affected by tick disease, and hopefully things will quiet down as the cooler weather comes. Just to mention Catholic Charities and Community Services, we do work in cooperation with them for veterans services, supportive services, and family programs. And I think Senior Services, 120 veterans access information from Senior Services table at the Veterans Picnic. And Bill Robinson, who is a veteran coordinator, spent a week up at the fair working with veterans as he met them. So we've had a lot of activity. Okay, let's move on here. Approval of the consent agenda.
The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. If any freeholder would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now.
Okay, motion to approve the consent agenda A to E.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo? Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Approval of the minutes. Motion to approve minutes from the regular meeting and executive session of August 14, 2019. Josh Hertzberg will abstain. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Voice, all in favor?
Aye.
One abstention.
Okay, one abstention. Motion to approve minutes from regular meeting and executive session September 11, 2019. Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions?
Sylvia, you'll abstain.
Oh, I abstain. I knew I had to pick one of them.
Okay.
Thanks.
Appointments and or resignations, none. Resolutions. Motion to adopt resolutions A to C.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Award of contracts and change order and bids.
The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the award contract change order bids consisting of this one resolution and determined that adoption of said resolution is in and will further the public interest.
Okay. Motion to adopt the contract resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Okay. Resolution payment of the bills, September 25th, 2019. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
Wait,
Roll
hold
call.
on. Can I move it?
No,
down?
we-
Yeah, she can move it, she just can't vote.
Just can't vote, right. So we have two that need to abstain on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So for the roll call, we have Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
I abstain. And I'd like to explain why. My son works for the company that's the bills being paid.
okay.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Abstain.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Okay.
One thing, just for clarification, back up to the minutes. August 14th, I did not have to abstain. September 11th, I did. I don't know which one Sylvia missed, but we might have had that backwards.
Okay. So we go
I
back.
just wanted to clarify
Was
that.
I out the 14th? Was that? You're probably right about that. That's why I was hesitant. I didn't know which one it was.
I was here on the 14th. I was
You were
not.
on the 14th, okay.
You are correct.
Yeah,
It
they were
was
back. So I was,
reversed, yes.
the 14th. I have to abstain. You would abstain from the 11th.
That is so noted?
Yes,
Correct,
we'll
okay.
make that
Thank you.
notation.
A motion to a payment of the bills, list B, September 25th, 2019. Motion, okay, second.
Second.
Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Personnel, authorizing personnel agenda of September 25th, 2019. A motion to adopt personnel agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Roll call.
Freeholder Fantasia?
Yes.
Freeholder Graham?
Yes.
Freeholder Hertzberg?
Yes.
Freeholder Patillo?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Yardley?
Yes. Administrators report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Director. I attended the New Jersey Association of Counties Board meeting along with Freeholder Director Yardley on Friday, September 13th. Immediately following the board meeting, the county administrators had their meeting as well. I've been working with the county adjuster to determine if we can garner support to have the judiciary consider allowing the transmittal of records through encrypted electronic communication. Right now, the only way per directive of the judiciary those records can be transferred is either through fax or hand delivery. And you can imagine we had an instance not too long ago where documents needed to be transmitted in advance of a hearing, and the documentation was in excess of 70 pages, and the fax failed 9 times. So you can imagine the time just for one transaction, the amount of time that's taken, and in an era where encrypted communication is viable, and in fact used by the military, United States military, that the county adjuster's office would be precluded from doing so is really remarkable, to say the least. In addition to getting the support of the County Administrators Association, the county adjuster is working with the Adjusters Association, and we also have received support from the State Public Defender's Office. So we're hoping that we're building a critical mass to be able to take to the judiciary and make our case for being able to have more effective and more efficient government. So I'll keep the board apprised of our progress as we move through that issue. As Freeholder Fantasia indicated, our 2020 budget development is underway. A new feature of the budget process this year is the organizational goals and objectives for the various divisions and departments, which have been put into a binder and will be shared with each of the board members. I'm very happy working with our budget director, Mary Jo Shamming, as well as our chief financial officer, Elka Yetter, as this is one more way that we administratively work with the board and in turn inform the public about the good services that are furnished by the county. We want to make the budget process more than just 600 pages worth of numbers. Those numbers actually translate into something, and it translates into probably the board's single most important policy document that's adopted on an annual basis. And so just as I've thrown in some pictures the last few years in the budget presentation, we want to be able to translate that into the goals and objectives that the various units of county government are doing. So I'm looking forward to having the opportunity of reviewing those goals and objectives, not only with the board, but as part of the public presentation of the county's 2020 budget. And last but not least, the Association of Counties, on behalf of all of us, attended a hearing before the council on unfunded mandates. You'll recall that they were advancing a challenge to the state having implemented the vote by mail regulations, which recently have been amended to include some additional funding. And so it changed in some way the Association of Counties presentation before the council, because we've moved from an unfunded mandate to an underfunded mandate. But unfunded or underfunded, it still does not meet the statutory requirements.
And that funding was even conditional, wasn't it? Even the underfunding was conditional.
That's correct. And so we anxiously await for the filing of summary briefs in that case, and certainly will keep the board informed as additional information becomes available. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. County Council, you have any?
Just a brief update on what I mentioned last week. I'm sorry, at the last meeting with respect to the college request that this board consider exercising its statutory authority in the matter involving Mr. Scanlon. At the last meeting, I told you that I made requests of the attorney for the college and the attorney for Mr. Scanlon to give us any documents that they would like us to consider. And I did get responses, some voluminous responses, which I passed along to you earlier. I got another response about 2 hours ago this afternoon that I haven't read yet. So the matter is still under consideration. I'm probably going to ask at the agenda meeting on Monday that we list this for executive session at our next meeting. And that's where we stand at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business. Seeing none, new business. Public session from the floor. Everyone's asked to keep your comments to 3 minutes. Please state your name and print your name and municipality on the sign-in sheet. Motion to open the floor for public comment.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, the floor is now open to address the Freeholders board.
Caught up a little preemptively, I apologize. There's anyone on here from before doing this stuff? Oh, who's? Did you sign?
I did sign.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, I'll just go right ahead. I'll go after.
From this distance,
I was
I
there
can tell
early.
you're seated. Good evening, my name is Oki. I'm from Vernon. Before I begin the statements, I initially want to say I just want to thank Freeholders. Addiction is something that, if it hasn't touched you, you're lying to yourself, because it really has touched everyone, not only in this county, but really all over the country. I actually just lost my mother to an overdose, so I really appreciate you pushing that the services. Thank you. All that being said, thank you for the update on Mr. Scanlon and at the college. I would just really appreciate that the Freeholders continue to move on this. It would really be a disservice to the students of the college and the college's reputation if we just, I don't know, let him continue at his term. That would be, I understand it's over at the end of October, but it's a disservice because the words that were used on social media were deeply offensive, it really reflects poorly on anyone who goes to that institution, who works there, who has graduated from there. It's a huge disservice. So, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak to Freeholders board?
Good evening. If I can, I just got a few short stories I want to give to you all.
Thank you.
I'm Marvin Johnson with the U.S. Census Bureau. I'm the Sussex County representative. They call me partnership specialist. And you're welcome. And it's my job to work with local organizations, governments, nonprofits for a couple of reasons. To get the word out, about the importance of the census. We've heard a lot tonight about social programs and people helping people, and underneath all that is, money is needed, as we all know, and it comes from different sources. And a lot of these programs, whether it's SNAP or homeless shelters or substance abuse programs, there's federal funding involved on some level, whether it's directly from the federal government or whether it's funded through the state or it's a grant to a county or a municipality, not even for social programs. Let's say you're fixing a bridge, and you need money for that, whatever it is. That money is apportioned based on census count, right? And it only happens every 10 years, and you have to live with it. What I try to tell people, it's like kind of like a double whammy, right? The people that need the programs the most, they're typically the ones that are hardest to count. And so if they're not getting counted, but they're still coming in for the services, who gets caught having to pay for it? A lot of times the county does, municipalities, the state does, taxpayers do locally. So it's my job to make sure that as much of that federal money that is earmarked, they tell us there's about $675 billion every year that's funneled into programs other than, like defense spending on federal level, money that comes to local communities. So I've been working really closely with your staff. Had a great meeting with Mr. Pop. I've had the pleasure of I'm sorry?
1 more minute.
Oh, sorry. I had the pleasure of knowing him for many years as well as in the Lions. My background is in municipal government. I was a manager in Netcom, Chester, and Clinton. So although I'm federal government, I consider myself a local person. So I wanted to get that word out, maybe get a commitment to come back in December as we get closer to the actual count and do a presentation. I do like a 20-minute presentation that talks about the importance in more detail. And the other thing before I go, jobs. If you open your folder in the front left, it talks about jobs. And I want our local residents to get those jobs. The Census Bureau tries their hardest to get local people working in their local community. The jobs right now, if you go on their website, is 2020 census.gov/jobs. It's on the flyer there. The pay rate in Sussex County is $21 an hour, and they need census takers. So I have some flyers. Anybody's great for college students, senior citizens, underemployed, unemployed. So apply. They're local jobs in the local community, and they need a lot of people. So that's why I just wanted to get that word out.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Anyone else wish to address the field?
I'm missing a pen.
Oh.
I'd like to echo Zoe's sentiments. I want to thank you so much for the initiative that you're doing.
I'm sorry, could you just state your name?
Oh,
for
I'm
the
so
record?
sorry. Yes, Christy Laban, Hardiston Township. The Drug Symposium, I think it's such a wonderful service that you're providing the county, so I wanted to thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I imagine you may be as fatigued hearing about the topic of Mr. Scanlon's place on the SCCC Board of Trustees, as many of us are bringing it up. But the fact remains, there is only one governing body that is appropriate to address, act, and take a stand on what to do when the possibility of racism, sexism, and homophobia is connected to a Board of Trustees, and that is this governing body. A comment by a woman at the last Freeholder meeting struck me, and I thought it was worthy of revisiting. She stated something to the effect that it seemed like people are looking to tar and feather Mr. Scanlon over his actions, to retweet the reported multiple offensive and disturbing tweets in question, and I don't think anyone deserves that. I want to be abundantly clear. When I first spoke out back in July with an email to this board and to the Board of Trustees, it was as an alumni of SCCC. Mr. Scanlon's political role in the county was not known to me, and that continues to be irrelevant to why this matters to me. What is relevant to me is that he's a father, a person, and a member in our community. So I do not reject the man, I reject the content of what he shared and the actions that he chose. For this board to not join myself in the community and also rejecting the content, given the gravity of the content, is concerning. When hate in any form is perpetuated in the community, we must take action on every front to come together to face it and condemn it. In the same way, if we were to have ignored what happened to the airport diner, as I'm sure all of you remember, as a community when it was vandalized with neo-Nazi graffiti, we would have been silently complicit. Instead, our Republican and Democrat elected congressman and state senator at the time took a bipartisan stand and made it abundantly clear where they stood. Hate was not acceptable here in any form. Either this governing body does not take the abhorrent content of the tweets that seriously, calling for the extinction of a religion, humiliating someone's sexual orientation, and degrading women, or there is another reason. Regardless, the seriousness of an action is less about Mr. Scanlon and more about our county and protecting our values. Rejecting racism and hatred should be a pretty easy norm for any leader, and given the rise in hate crimes and bias crimes in both our state and more importantly Sussex County from 2016 to 2018, it hopefully is a priority to you as well, as I'm sure it is. The alumni and current students of SCCC spoke out and the Board of Trustees made a formal recommendation to this board for his removal. To do nothing is a choice, to do something is a choice, and I hope you make the right choice for our county. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the Freeholder Board?
Hi, good evening. My name is Nina Allen, and I'm from Hardyston. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to echo their sentiments also. Hate has no place in Sussex County, even though Mr. Scanlon is due to run out of his term in October. This should not go unrecognized. This should not go unpunished. This should not be allowed to stand. Very simple. Show an example. This is wrong, and Sussex County won't stand for it. And as Christy said, I know also that you guys, you people, are the only ones that have the authority to make it happen. Please do the right thing, set the right example for the kids at the college and everybody for the future of Sussex County. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wish to address the board? Okay. Okay, second? Second. All in favor? Public session is over. Reminders, visit the county website for upcoming meetings and events, and whatever things that we talk about here, they are on the county website. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned.